of stuff, and then giving them the chance to take risks and saying it will be okay. Our scores, you have all those testing scores, we haven't. Ours is still terrible. You know, for a school that's got a bit of good publicity going, we're a shocker. But what we're saying is we will get better at those as we do the other things. The other things that kids have got to believe they can achieve. The community's got to believe it can achieve. And, you know, even though the Facebook stuff drives me insane, and I want to close it again tonight, by the way, because everyone wants to talk about uniforms and the terrible price of them and why it's my fault. But the bottom line is it's enabled us to connect with the community, and everybody listens to it. And that's the same as we know the radio station is going to be. People are going to listen to it, and yes, they're going to complain, but they used to complain before. Unfortunately, now they complain to us. It was better when they just complained in the car park and I didn't know. So for me, it was about doing that, and also then saying to the staff, you are an incredibly valued group of people. No one in our state had actually thought about taking people, as Dean said, you know, when he and Emile stalked you last year, which is probably not a good term to use, I know, but when they followed you, yes, I know, terrifying.
It's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. But also, we took people, we said to people, look, we have a thing in South Australia called show day. You have bank holidays and things like that. We had a show day, and on that day we said, look, we'll fly you interstate. And so it was on a footy weekend, so they could go and see whatever football team they wanted. But we've got a couple of schools we want you to visit. People came away from them thinking, hell, A, we're being treated like professionals, B, we're being given training and development we've never heard of before, and C, we're getting a holiday that we've only had to pay for the accommodation for because they're flying us to and back. So that sort of stuff has also been built in. So there's been some real rewards for people professionally and personally as well. Is that, yeah, that's probably it for me.
Well, we're just running pretty much out of time, but we commented a bit on the fact you seem to be wearing a uniform, Dean, and over here, you know, uniforms are big debate. Inspection uniforms. Just talk us through, because on the back of your collar, unless I'm much mistaken, it says staff, doesn't it? And everybody wears badges. Just talk us through all that, the different colours you've got within the school as well. Just say a few things about it.
Okay, well, first of all, the suburb we're in is part of the city of Playford, or the city of Elizabeth, which is named after, obviously, the Queen. And the colours of Elizabeth have always been red, white and blue, but what we discovered was no school had ever used those colours. It's also the colours of the most successful football team we had in South Australia. So when we started, we wanted to actually say to the people, we're going to be successful, we're going to identify with what you are. So the other thing is that uniform was an absolute taboo subject. No one wore uniforms. They looked appalling, you know. People didn't wear shoes to school, literally. They wore thongs, or sandals, as you would call them. It was a terrible, terrible look. So the school wanted to go for a uniform that looked like a uniform, and that's caused us some problems because, you know, you have to pay for them. But we actually decided that we needed to differentiate between the various sub-schools. So the early years, which is your nursery and elementary school, have a red top. As part of Dean's, you can see the red, white and blue. Grey is the base colour of the uniform, so it's grey pants, a grey jumper. There's a red uniform for the little kids, so they have a red top, they have red banding on things. The middle years children, which would be from year 7 to year 9, so just at the start of secondary school, they have a blue top, and the seniors have a white top, so the head of secondary school. And the idea was we could always tell where people were.